This is the worst case I've ever seen. Those chilling words come from Judge Michelle Sisco, a seasoned jurist with 19 years on the bench. What crime could possibly earn such a devastating verdict?
This is the worst case I've ever seen as far as the facts go.
In 2018, the world was shaken by one of the most brutal and horrifying crimes, a crime so gruesome it's hard to fathom. In Riverview, Florida, Ronnie O'Neal murdered his girlfriend Kenyatta Barron and their 9-year-old daughter Ron Nevaeh, while attempting to kill his 8-year-old son. The brutal details of that night were impossible to ignore. After years of waiting for justice, the sentencing came in 2021, and what happened in that courtroom left everyone in stunned silence. As the courtroom prepared for the sentencing, O'Neal, the man responsible for these atrocities, stood before the judge. Without an ounce of remorse, he declared, "I am not sorry for something I didn't do, and I am not sorry for the things I did do."
I am not sorry for something I didn't do, and I am not sorry for the things I did do.
Mr. O'Neal,
All right.
listen, stop.
All right.
Listen to me.
I'm not
You're not going to raise your voice again.
I'm
You're
not going to raise my
your
voice again. I'm not.
I will have you removed from this courtroom. I can sentence you without you being present.
Yes, ma'am.
You don't conduct
I
yourself.
understand, Your Honor.
Thank you.
But for Judge Michelle Sisco, this wasn't just another case. This was a crime so horrific that it haunted everyone involved. She had seen countless tragedies over her 19 years as a judge, but this one stood out as the worst she'd ever encountered. She described the moment a firefighter retrieved Ron Nevaeh's body from the scene, unable to hold back her emotions. There is no way any person with any feeling could have witnessed or seen the photos of what occurred that night and not be haunted for the rest of your life. "I know I will be," she said, her voice shaking.
When the person from fire department, when he testified, and when he said that he retrieved the body of Ronnie O'Neal from the home, and all he could do was sob. It took every ounce I had not to start sobbing too. Because there is no way any person with any feeling could have witnessed or seen the photos of what occurred that night and not be haunted for the rest of your life. I know I will be. For the rest of my life, I'll be haunted by what I saw as far as the evidence and just the abject cruelty of it all. The abject cruelty. She knew she was being betrayed in the cruelest, most tragic and sorrowful way that a child could ever be betrayed. She was being betrayed by her parent, the one person that should be there to protect their children and love them and keep them from harm. And that was the last thing that child felt before she passed on from this earth, was your utter, cruel betrayal to her.
The details of Ron Nevaeh's death were nothing short of heartbreaking. The judge explained how Ron Nevaeh's final moments were spent in absolute terror, unable to scream or run. "She witnessed what you did to her mother," the judge continued, her voice heavy with sorrow. "The pain and suffering that she endured at your hands, unspeakable."
Little Ronnie, she couldn't scream, she couldn't run away, and she witnessed what you did to her mother, as far as shooting her mother in the arm with the gunshot. She knew. And the horror that child suffered. And she already had a life where she was born with challenges regarding her physical and her mental disabilities. But the pain and suffering that she suffered that night at your hands, unspeakable, absolutely unspeakable.
Judge Sisco, holding back her own tears, continued to focus on the unimaginable cruelty O'Neal had inflicted on his own family. She spoke of how Ron Nevaeh's bedroom was decorated with love. Her mother, Kenyatta, had done everything in her power to make her daughter feel special. But all of that was destroyed in one moment of pure violence.
What happened to little Ronnie and to little Ronnie, but I'm going to focus on Ronnie because she was special. And you could tell Miss Barron had done everything she could to create a beautiful home for her family. Ronnie's bedroom, before you set it on fire, you could tell she tried so hard to make her feel like a princess. Kenyatta did everything she could. And I noticed too in the kitchen, on the refrigerator, she put up magnets that said faith, love, family, hope. And then you know what else happened at the refrigerator during that night? It got splattered with blood all over it due to what happened.
The judge then reflected on the haunting 911 call made that night. If anybody ever wants to know what it sounds like before a human being dies, knowing that their death is imminent, that's exactly what it is, she said, pausing as the weight of the statement settled in the room.
The way that Ms. Barron died was horrific, and that 911 call, which captured truly all of it. You heard, and everyone who's heard that 911 call heard a death scream. If anybody ever wants to know what it sounds like before a human being dies, knowing that their death is imminent, that's exactly what it is. That was a death scream.
We're going to see if it's true.
But
Judge Sisco's final words were as powerful as they were poignant. If souls pick their lives, Ronnie O'Neal is one of the bravest souls I've ever come across. A child who endured unimaginable pain and suffering, but who will be remembered for her incredible strength.
And I read somewhere, and I don't know if it's true or not, I have no idea, but I read somewhere that souls pick their lives and that they know exactly how difficult their lives are going to be before they enter into this world. And I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, Ronnie O'Neal is one of the bravest souls I have ever come across in my 54 years on this planet. One of the bravest ever, ever. Because she suffered so traumatically.
In the end, justice was delivered. Ronnie O'Neal was sentenced to 3 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 90 years for other charges. There would be no second chance for him. His actions had sealed his fate.
This is the worst case ever in my life, and I have seen some horrors, but this is it. And I'm going to mete out the punishment that I think this case deserves. On count 1, Mr. O'Neal, I will adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to life in prison with a minimum mandatory of life in prison without the possibility of parole. Count 2, I will adjudicate you guilty, and adjudicate you guilty on count 1 as well. Count 2, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to life in prison without the possibility of parole, consecutive to count 1. On count 3, I'm going to sentence you on the attempted murder, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to life in prison, running consecutive to counts 2 and consecutive to count 1. On count 4, on the arson, first-degree dwelling, I will adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 30 years Florida State Prison to run consecutive to counts 1, 2, and 3. On count 5, aggravated child abuse, I'm going to adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 30 years in the Florida State Prison to run consecutive to counts 1 through 4. On count 6, I'm going to adjudicate you guilty to aggravated child abuse, sentence you to 30 years in prison to run consecutive to counts 1 through 5. And on count 7, resisting arrest without violence, I will adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to time served.
This case serves as a tragic reminder of the horrors far too many children and families face. While justice was served, no amount of punishment can ever erase the trauma that's been left behind. Our hearts are with the survivors, especially Ronnie's brave brother, who now lives with the unimaginable loss of his sister and mother. If this story moved you, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more content on tragic events that deserve our attention. Thank you for watching. If you want to support the channel and get something useful in return, check out the affiliate links in the description. Every click helps us keep bringing you stories that matter.